Today, we're going to be talking about Connie Mack. The Connie Mack World Series has been happening in San Juan County in Farmington for 60 years now. And we want to share some of the impact it's had on the community. And heaven forbid it ever gets moved. We'll talk about that. The Den, powered by the Lyons Group, a show that explores trending topics in real estate, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. We're a small team of professionals with over $400 million in sales and nearly 2,000 successful transactions. You're listening to time-tested experts and industry leaders. Here's a refreshing look at real estate happenings and more. Welcome to The Den. So the Connie Mack World Series, most of our audience probably knows, is the best of the best 18 and under. 18U is what they call it. Is it 16U, 17U, and 18U, Paul?
Yep.
And so these are the best of the best high school players across the country, and they jump on these select teams, and these select teams compete in tournaments, regional tournaments, and the winners of those tournaments come right here to Farmington, San Juan County, and play in the big Connie Mack World Series, and a champion is crowned every year. It's a fantastic tournament. I mean, there's a lot of tournaments across the country that happen for these kids, but this is like the grand poobah. Wouldn't you agree, Paul Berry?
Yeah. The what?
The grand poobah.
Poopah?
Poopah, yeah. Isn't that like the
Poobah.
Poopah?
I don't think it's poopah.
Poopah? I like poopah better than poopah. Okay, back.
It's the best of the best. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. And some of these teams have been competing for many, many years. Like Midland Redskins, some of the teams that we've seen for a lot of years, sometimes decades, and they've been crowned champions. We've had a lot of Hall of Famers come through the Connie Mack World Series. Ken Griffey Jr. played here. Barry Larkins,
Mike Trout.
Yep. There's quite a few big names. In fact, I was
Manny Ramirez.
That's right. Yeah. And the beautiful thing about that is these kids, when they come through, they're just kids. You know, they're 17, 18 years old, some of them 16, and we have host families here. And so these host families take these kids in, and we become the adoptive parents for that week and a half or so while the tournament's being played. And those kids oftentimes become family. And I do know, like Ken Griffey Jr., he comes back to the area and will still visit his host family. Well, it's been 30 years or so. At least. I mean, he played in the 90s. So it's pretty incredible. It's a wonderful tournament, but we wanted to take some time today and just discuss like the impact it's had on the community and the future of the Connie Mack World Series, because hopefully we continue to keep this tournament alive and the tradition alive for many years to come. So Shannon, I know you've never hosted kids.
No.
But just kind of from someone who enjoys baseball, maybe enjoys entertainment, and really likes to see our community thrive, what are some of the takeaways that you see that the Connie Mack brings to this area?
A lot of commerce, a lot of revenue. The thing I like about this time of the year is, hotels are full, which is, it's good for our local economy. Restaurants are full, and we get a lot of attention. We get a lot of people seeing our community and a lot of people that maybe would come back to visit or one day live here. I think it's really good exposure for our community. And I would say that it's kind of like when you talk about like the balloon fiesta in Albuquerque or something like that. It's kind of iconic, and you have people from all over that want to come for it. And it's kind of that time that we can showcase our town, that we can show off what we have to offer here, and we can definitely bring in a lot of revenue from outside areas, which is good for our local economy, good for our, businesses and employees.
Yep. And you know what's funny? You just said like showcase our area. It was fun last year when we hosted. We actually got to sitting next to a lady who ended up sitting next to us on quite a few of the games. And she was the wife of one of the umpires, and bless her heart, to hear all the, the jeers and the,
right.
We're like, do you ever get used to that? People shouting at your husband? She's like, no, I shout at him all the time too. But, I can imagine a spouse, watching your husband or your wife that's out there being yelled at because you may have made a wrong call. I mean, those umpires do the best that they can. But we get to talking to her, and they're from California, and she's like, I have fallen in love with this area. I mean, I absolutely love this area. And she asked about, what is San Juan County? What's the commerce here? What is the industries? She started having all these incredible questions. And so we went into selling the area mode. Like, this is a beautiful hidden gem in the Southwest. And, lo and behold, after they left for the tournament, she called me a couple months later and I had a conversation with her and her husband about moving to the area, which is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. So they, out of all the areas that they could move, I think they were in Chico, California. They're like, we would love to move to the Southwest. So it was kind of a cool byproduct of this tournament.
And that's a nice area too, Chico, California. That's where a lot of my family lives, up in Northern California.
Yeah. It is a good area. It's in the valley, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know if it's a valley.
Which valley?
It's a valley. Huh?
What valley?
Well, the Central Valley in California.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard of it referred that way, and I don't spend enough time there to know that. Yeah,
Sacramento and all that's in the valleys between. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Yeah. You're more from the northern coastal areas. I don't know if it's referred to that or not, but Sacramento, Redding, Chico, all those areas around there. Yeah. I have a lot of family there. It's a beautiful area. Yeah. Beautiful area.
That's called the valley because you have the coastal mountains, and then you have a valley, and then you have the inland mountains.
Oh, I see. Okay, that would make sense. Yeah. I guess I've just never heard of it referred to that way. But impressive that someone from an area like that finds our area appealing. That's nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really eye-opening. I was thinking, this is fantastic. And a lot of people like the smaller town feel. They're migrating to smaller towns. So, Paul, I know you've been involved with baseball, softball. You've been a coach. You've been on the board. You've done a lot of things over the years. Tell us your perspective of the Connie Mack World Series, what it does for this area and how important it is.
Well, not being a coach or that kind of stuff I don't have any involvement on the baseball side. Jackson, my son, played T-ball 1 year. But what I am on is the Parks and Recs commission. I'm actually a commissioner now. And the interesting thing is, years ago, I was put on a panel to see if they wanted to turf Ricketts. So the main stadium, they wanted to put AstroTurf in there. And I was one of the few at the time because we were in a major drought. We couldn't water our lawns. That was when water was kind of being rationed for us. They wanted to turf everything. And what it came down to, and my argument was, all these other tournaments across the country aren't on turf. So they're going to come here, and the biggest, the best of the best are going to come here to see who is the best and play on a surface they haven't played on before, or that they're not normally playing on. So it was kind of a cost thing, but luckily they didn't do that. And they have since renovated Worley Field. So this year, Connie Mack got to play on, Ricketts. They got to play on Worley. They got to play down at the complex, the baseball fields at the complex, down on the on the west side of town. So there's plenty of places for them to play, plenty of amenities for these players to warm up, to practice, and then enjoy this area. So from the Parks and Rec side, this is a kind of the pinnacle of their year. Hi, I'm Paul Berry, a partner at the Lyons Group. We're dedicated to making your real estate experience the best it can be. If you're looking to buy or sell, go to sjcbroker.com and watch our informational video series. These videos break down the process of buying and selling. While you're there, schedule a private consultation with one of our partners. We'd love to sit down and talk strategy and give you a real advantage in today's market. You deserve the best, so take those steps, and we'll see you soon. Now back to the show.
Yeah. And it is. I mean, they really work all year to get the field just pristine.
It's perfect every year.
So pretty. And people that are watching this and may not live in this area or be familiar with the Connie Mack, it really is that time of the year where the town kind of shuts down. We have a big parade for the kids. And so funny because we've hosted now for 4 years. And when we say we host, we're a host family. And these kids come in, instead of putting them up in hotels, we have families that take 2 or 3 or sometimes 4, 5 kids into their homes, and we become the parents for the week. We're running them to practice. We're cooking them dinners. We're staying up late with them. My wife is washing their...
Yeah, you're really a free laundromat for these kids.
Right. That's right. My wife she always has a panic attack when it comes to Connie Mack, because she's like, you've got white pants again and red dirt. Like, what do I do? How do I get this out? And so she's learned some of the tricks that the baseball moms know from over the years of how to get that stuff out. But what's cool for me is that when we host these kids, they come in, a lot of them don't really know what the Connie Mack is. They've played in so many tournaments. Now, when I say these are the best of the best, these kids are amazing, and you have to have your head on straight to really get to this level. Most of them anyways. And so they play in tournaments constantly. They hear about the Connie Mack. They don't really understand it. They get here. And the very first thing we do is the parade. Have you been to one of the parades, Shannon? Yeah. And so we do this parade down in Main Street, and thousands of people show up. I mean, the town shuts down, and these kids, their eyes, I mean, they're like saucers. They're like, this is crazy. We don't get parades. And, little kids coming up for autographs, and they just have a blast. I mean, this last tournament or this last parade that we watched was fantastic. The kids, they get up in front of the camera, and then 1 or 2 of them would do backflips, on the team, and the team would shout, and they would just go nuts. And it means they really got into it. And the excitement that they have, like, we've talked to people that have played in the Connie Mack World Series decades later, they go, I will never forget my time in Farmington, New Mexico. Like, I know that is like a staple memory for me,
right?
Which is really cool. So my question to you two is, in the event that we ever lost that tournament, because it's been on the table that the tournament gets moved to a bigger city, do you think that would change things for the series altogether? If it went to Phoenix, would the crowds show up for a tournament?
Probably not, because you don't get that kind of support in a large town. You just don't. I mean, there's something really special about a small town in the way that we show up for people. I don't think you would get something like that in a Phoenix or someplace like that.
May turn into another just thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, another tournament. I think one of the things that makes this one special is the longevity of the people that are running the tournaments. I know there's always politics that are involved in it, but some of the people that have been doing this have been doing it for decades. And so I think, going back to what you said about coaching, a lot of tournaments, you're like, when am I playing tomorrow? Like, we don't know yet. We still got to do the brackets. Connie Mack there's never a question of what's going on. It's run so well.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the tournament down pat.
Oh yeah, 60 times.
Yeah, there's always some adjustment that needs, and there's always some, there's if then, like if this team wins and it gets kind of confusing, just brackets in general.
Well, and a lot of years there's rain outs or rain delays or something. We haven't had rain this year, but
yeah,
and those games go to midnight or later sometimes, but it's such a well-run tournament that I think that's why it's so memorable for the players.
Yeah. And then the connections you make with those players is pretty incredible. And they really, because most of these kids won't go on and play professional ball. I mean, there's a good amount that do, but it's really about catching these kids when they're in their high school prime, and helping maybe give them a third perspective on their lives. Of course, they have their parents that they've been, under the wing for all these years. Now they're in the house with a different set of parents that they've just met, and to have that bond for a week or 10 days with those kids, it's really pretty special, because you can put a little stamp on their lives and help encourage the behaviors, the things that you see that they are doing really well. And also maybe curb some things that, some self-doubt or some things that you can see that could be problematic for them. And they'll actually listen, because you're not their parents.
Right.
And so, I mean, how did you, it's one of those things that when it's told to you all the time, day in and day out, you don't listen, you turn it off. But if someone new says something, then it's usually hits home a little bit better.
Right.
Well, one of the good things about this tournament too is it draws, like this year, Tim Tebow came and talked on one of the last days. They have local people doing, like, I've done the invocation a couple of times, and I know Bracy, your daughter, Was this her second time?
Second time.
She did the national anthem. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. She's too young to be scared.
Right.
Well, I should say this. So Bracy got up there last year and sang in front of a packed house, and she did phenomenal. And she did really well. Now, before that, a few days before that, she sang the national anthem to open the parade, but she walked the last quarter mile. And so she was out of breath. And, keep in mind, she was 13 years old then. They hand her a microphone. She sings. She doesn't do her best performance. In our eyes, she did wonderful, but in her eyes, she didn't do her best performance. And so it kind of rocked. That was the first time it kind of rocked her. Like, wow, I'm singing in front of people. She's been singing her whole life in front of people. This is the first time it went, wow, I could mess up. And that kind of stings. Mm-hmm. So I was so proud of her because a few days later, she actually sang in front of a packed crowd at Ricketts at the night game, and she killed it. Fast forward a year, this year, she had to sing at the parade again and do the same performance. And those jitters got her. And in fact, we were sitting in this room, and we were talking to her, and she was working her way through it. And to her credit, she stood up there and grabbed that microphone and went down and did that parade again, which was really cool to see. I was more proud that she overcame that than, singing good or whatever else. It's like, that takes a lot. So she's at that age now where she's like, okay, if I mess up, it's kind of scary. So it was a good thing. Very proud of her. But those are the kinds of the cool things. You loop in local kids, local families, local people that have businesses that get into the parade, that support the tournament, that offer out their services. I know, like C Seniors, they donate food to the families, they donate food to the hosts, the kids. There's all kinds of organizations, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A.
Did you guys see my commercial?
Which one?
I did a commercial for New Mexico Escrow Solutions.
You know what? We did see that. I did see that.
They were like pressuring me to do one. So I just turned the phone around and said like 20 seconds, and they put it all over the place. All over it,
yep.
Oh my gosh.
We did see that. Yes, we did. Yep. And New Mexico Escrow Services are fantastic. That's Ashley Strauss Martin's, correct? Yep. Wonderful, wonderful. So it's really cool. It's a great tournament. I'm doing a lot of talking here, but because I've been pretty heavily involved with it over the years and seen the impact with these kids. Now, we've gone to weddings. We've gone to college football games. Our kids have gone on to play college football and other sports. We've gone to celebrate children being born now. And so, it's really grown our family.
They really did become your family.
They became our family, which is really, so are you going to host one of these years, Shannon? No? Why not?
You know what, I like watching a game every now and again. If it were football, it'd be different. It's not my thing, I don't think. I don't know. I just don't see it as my thing. I think it's a great program. I love seeing everybody enjoy Connie Mack. I like going to a couple games here and there, but I'm not crazy about it like a lot of people around here are.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's my thing. I don't think I could host something.
And that's okay, because we need people in the stands,
right,
cheering along.
That's what I'm good for.
We did the wave. We did the wave the other day. You'd been proud of that. Bracy and her friends.
Good job.
They started the wave, and it went across the stadium and back. So now that you're watching this, we recorded this, and of course you're seeing it after the tournament, so we can send out a spoiler. The Doolin Dodgers won the tournament in an awesome fashion. And last year we hosted the Doolin Dodgers, so we knew several of the boys. This year just wasn't in the card. We couldn't host this year. So the year we don't host, they can win the tournament, which is...
He saved a bunch of money.
But it's fun. With those boys, we stay up and, you play cards till 1 or 2 in the morning. And the next morning you're up at 6 a.m. and cooking breakfast and taking them to practices and whatnot. What do you think are some of the things that could enhance the tournament, Paul? I know they've made a big marketing push. They hired Paul McPherson and his wife to come out and really do a marketing push. Is that one of the big things that could really help the tournament move forward down the road?
I think so. What they did this year, Paul McPherson was Shutter Freak. They did more of the social media, which hasn't been as prevalent in years past, but I think they're going to start marketing on social media, doing more live streaming, that kind of thing.
Yep. And I think really getting the message out, because one of the things that Paul at Shutter Freak has been doing is connecting people with the host family stories and how that really resonates with people to really connect to the tournament, because it's a community-wide thing, which is really impactful.
Yeah, I mean, it would make a great documentary on how it all works and how involved the host families get with the kids, just like you're talking about. And just the history, some of the names that have come through here. They could do an hour-long documentary. I'd watch it too.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a great part of town. Parking. So anybody that's been to Connie Mack knows parking is a bear. Farmington is working on it. They've done some studies to fix fairgrounds. So in the next few years, hopefully, we're going to approve some renovations to that area to make it a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
And so that would be one of the things.
The parking, yeah. And speaking of documentary, there was actually a crew that did a documentary last year. They followed the kids through the tournaments all the way in California, the regional. They won regional. They came here to Connie Mack and played in the series. And guess what? The SoCal Renegades won, and they were being followed from when they were doing the regional stuff.
Really?
So that documentary actually is going to be coming out probably this year or next, highlighting
awesome.
it. So once we get that information, we'll post it here on the on this episode, so people can click through it and watch the documentary. But it was being filmed. In fact, one of the clients that I was working with, he was selling his home, buying another one, and hosting kids in the middle of it. Talk about crazy!
Wow, yeah,
it was a lot. But that was part of the story, is that they were hosting kids that won the tournament. And it was pretty incredible. So
one of the things that I think might help the tournament for the local area is, our teams never really do very well. Because usually what it is most of these other teams, like you're talking about, are select teams. So say the DBAT All-Stars are from all over the country. If they're from the middle of Texas, Oklahoma, and they bring a lot of the best players, and we usually have the high school team play. So I think if we did more of a select thing, have some tryouts, do something a little bit more elevated play, get kind of an all-star team in there and do a little bit better, I think we'd have more people in the stands.
Well, explain to our audience a little bit about the hometown team and how that works, because some people may not be familiar with it.
Well, that's kind of the politics that is tough to get into. The AABC is who runs the tournament, and they are the ones locally who pick the team. And they have a policy right now that they have their own little tournament. Whoever wins that becomes the host team. And the problem with that is you may have one or two good pitchers. You may have a catcher, a couple of good hitters, where these select teams have
everyone is good.
1 through 9 and then a long bench.
Yeah.
Where we have, a couple of seniors, some juniors.
Yeah.
So the talent that we put on the field is not necessarily at the same level as everybody else.
Yeah.
So I think if we were to elevate, and I think the baseball community here would benefit from some elevated play. We tried was it even a minor? It was a farm team, wasn't it? The Frackers.
Yeah.
So we actually put the Frackers in one of the tournaments or one year. So, it would be better for this community to have some, to do more of like a select team.
Yeah, and there's arguments both ways in that. And just for our audience to know, because we host the Connie Mack World Series, it's our local kids that jump on a host team, and they play in a local tournament, and then they get selected. Whoever wins that local tournament, that's what Paul's alluding to, is our local kids, and they're playing against. We have a local small town team playing against these kids that are select players on these big teams that come in, and so we're always at a disadvantage. What I love about it is that that the community comes out and supports our local kids. This year, they actually allowed the tournament, I think, across New Mexico. So in Albuquerque came up and represented as the local host team. Well, there wasn't but 2 or 3 local kids. So there was some pushback from the community because we want to see our local kids. The crowd shows up for our local kids.
Those are always the biggest games.
Those are the biggest games.
The first 2, though.
Yep. And then they typically lose out pretty quick because, again, like you were saying, we don't quite have the full talent pool because we're not pulling select kids, but maybe there's some combination, because that's the other side of that is you bring a team up from Albuquerque, they're the better players, but then you lose that connection with the host team.
But I would tell you, if the host team won, this town would go nuts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Because they did win. I don't remember what year.
Did they win a year? I don't think they've ever won a year.
Or they got to the championship or something. They got to the
championship. Yep. I don't know if they've ever won in 60 years. So, but it's always fun to.
Yeah, let's stack it. Let's be the Yankees and that everybody hates and win it.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, it's a great thing. We wanted to dedicate some time just to talk about the benefits of this fantastic and rich in history tournament that we've shared here in San Juan County and Farmington in particular, and just highlight some great thoughts about it because it's such a great tournament for our community, for the commerce, for the people, for the connections, for the relationships, and hopefully we continue it for many, many years. I know it's been on the table to be moved, and we wouldn't like to see that. But if you're watching this and you're in a small town or you're here locally, come out and support these types of events. It's so special for these kids, and they're at that age where they, these are core memories for them as they grow older. And any positive influence we can give their direction is always helpful. So we're winding down on time. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Den. Great conversation on the Connie Mack World Series, and we're going to do it again next year. Probably have some more details, maybe even bring in a player or two or a coach. That'd be fun. Fun to do that.
That would be a good idea.
But if you like our content, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to sjcbroker.com. You can schedule a private consultation with any member of the Lyons group. We'd love to sit down with you one-on-one, talk about the advantages that we can give you in today's market, whether you're buying or selling residential or commercial. We're here to help. So thank you for listening to this episode of The Den. Until next time, we'll see you then. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Den, powered by the Lyons Group. Hit the subscribe button to keep informed and check the show notes below for direct links to our buyer and seller video series. The buyer and seller video series can give you an inside track on taking the right steps in real estate. If you'd like to learn more about the Lyons Group or to schedule a consultation, go to sjcbroker.com. Complex markets require complex strategies. The Lyons Group can give you a true advantage in any market. Whether you're buying or selling, residential or commercial, contact us directly at sjcbroker.com. We're time-tested experts with a client-first approach, and we'll see you next time in The Den.